Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We'll try our best to take some questions now, guys. If you guys have any questions, now will be the time to ask them by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thanks to everyone who supported us in our latest publication, 40 Hadith on fasting in Ramadan, Volume 1. We thank each and every one of you and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you the spiritual blessings, the hasanat, the ajr, and the tangible benefit from the work. Hopefully it was worth your time. Hopefully it was a worthy read. Any suggestions, comments, or criticisms, mistakes, typos, grammatical errors, or anything, inshallah, you can always write to us, and we will be more than willing to accept and to fix or change whatever needs to be fixed or changed. Jazakumullahu khairan. And if you get a chance, those who bought the book on Amazon, please make a review. That will help out a lot. Jazakumullahu khairan. If you guys made a review, and I would appreciate it very much so. Thank you very much. Jazakumullahu khairan. Also, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, on the 21st of this month, the Thursday before the last, we will speak on the i'tikaf in light of Quran or Sunnah. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. All right, let's get started with the questions, if there are any. First question says, Abu Hassan from Cairo, Egypt. هل قالت عائشة لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اتق الله ولا تقل إلا حقا. Allahu Alam. IT, Roseville, California, USA. If a person does a basic ghusl janaba without wudu, can he wipe over socks after? If you make ghusl janaba, you automatically have wudu. Ghusl is bigger than wudu. So yes, the wudu is going to be included in that, and you're going to be allowed to make masj as well, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Wallahu alam. MB from Toronto, Ontario. When you have to break the prayer for a valid reason, should you sit down and make the taslim or exit out, or should you stop praying abruptly? You make the taslim, inshallah ta'ala, it's the safest thing to do. Make the taslim, bi'idhnillah. Moving forward. HK from Manchester, UK. Proud of you, Sheikh. In order to progress continuously, whether deen or dunya, is being comfortable with being uncomfortable important to progress. Like with Ibrahim was thrown in the fire. Barakallahu fika, akhi, for the support and the love. It has no doubt, being uncomfortable, being in tough situations, that makes you tough. That makes you what you are, that makes you who you are. We've spoken this many, many times before, the analogy of the golf ball and all the little small dents in the golf ball were placed there after a person had realized that the golf ball had been through so much. The original golf balls were a little, smooth and round without the little dimples in it. And then a golfer had realized that with all those dents through the wear and tear of hitting it, spiking them, whatever, is that the golf ball was better aerodynamically suited. It could go further, faster, travel in the wind. And then he said, oh, let's make the golf ball with the dents in it. So the point of the story is that the beating up of the ball made the ball better, right? And there are many, many other analogies that you can make with regards to being uncomfortable, being forced to step up makes you a better person. And Allah knows best. SB from Melbourne, Australia. If a dog's saliva gets on the carpet, is it sufficient just to take a towel, drench it in water, and thoroughly rub the area, etc.? You clean it, and perhaps bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, the mud is specific to the ina, the vessel to drink from. Wallahu alam. BM from Columbus, Ohio. During weddings and other occasions. Well, it depends. A fake nail doesn't necessarily have to be 100% haram. Wearing nails, adorning your nails, or natural nails with henna, with something on your nails, some rings, showing it to men that aren't your mahrams, that's a problem. And the same applies to other things, whether it be fake eyelashes or nose rings or piercings, etc., etc. Lip gloss, let alone makeup. In front of a non-mahram man, you're enhancing your beauty. You're bringing people to look at you more, even if that's not your intention. As far as among all women, different story. How to make wudu? Maybe she's menstruating, she doesn't have to make wudu. All right? Keeping her wudu, different story. But obviously, making the wudu, the water being on her fingernails, her cuticles, etc. That's a different story as well, right? Wallahu ta'ala alam. Let's move forward. Z8 from Queens, New York. Should we come straight up to qiyam from sujood, or should we sit for a second and then stand up? Make the jilsa. Make the jilsa bi'idnillahi ta'ala. Jilsa al-istiraha, you should do it. And of course, the scholars of Islam, they differ on that as well. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Khair, inshallah. So it seems to be all the questions that we have for now. Jazakumullah khairan. Thanks a lot, guys, for your love and for your support. I'll wait a little bit of time, see if there are more questions, and if not, we'll stop. Questions come from East Orange, New Jersey, and this was BD. How do you recommend we balance work while fasting? It depends on the nature of your work. But in general, work is work, right? You gotta work, gotta pay bills. Bills ain't gonna pay themselves. So if you gotta work, you gotta work. If you can take off time or do half of a day, if they allow you to do that, you can make it up later, or you can work at night or something, or after Ramadan, then that's even better. To devote more time to your spiritual practices in Ramadan. But if you don't, or if you can't, you're kafir or Muslim, boss. You don't have to be a non-Muslim. They may say, no, I need you. You want to be a monk or you want to make money? Unfortunately. Wallahu alam. Assalamu alaikum. HM from Ontario, Canada. Difference between being naive and forgiving with clear heart. Sometimes it's okay to be naive. Sometimes it's a good thing to be naive. And as a wise man says, ignorance is bliss. That's a fact. Some things is best not to know. And oftentimes people know things because they look for them. They search for them. They stick their necks out, extend their necks to come across the knowledge versus it being brought to you. So let's say, look, I'm not trying to snoop or spy or find out about anything. Let me just mind my own business. And if something comes to me, that's one thing. And if you call it being naive, then so be it. Alhamdulillah for being naive. I don't have to worry about this and this and that, flan. So being naive sometimes is good. It's a good thing for the Muslim. Naive, whether you're a parent or a teacher or something in which you have to look after somebody, and you go with your intuition. So it depends. What's important is you forgive with a clean heart. And if that means being naive, so be it. And if the person does it again, they violate you again, they didn't regard you accepting their apology or whatever, then khalas, you don't have to be their friend anymore. That's it, khalas. Barakallahu feek. You've proven to me that you're treacherous. You can't be upright. You can't do the right thing if you wanted to, with me at least. So therefore, tafaddal. You live your life, I live mine. I don't hate you. I won't talk about you. I won't backbite you. But you can't be my friend anymore. That's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. That's fine. And if you have the ability to forgive every time and have a clean heart, then I salute you. I salute you. And I wish I was like that. Wallahi, to have the ability to forgive an offense and to be the bigger person every time, to be clement, to be patient, not to give in to arguments, not to get angry, not to get mad, not to be egotistic, not to have any pride, but just to say la bas to any Muslim. It's a beautiful thing. Wallahu ta'ala alam. ZA from Queens, New York. Any topics to focus on when teaching children? I'm trying to get to my younger cousins interested and invested in the deen. You've answered the question already. Teach them about the beauties of the deen, the virtues of the deen. Teach them about the beauty of knowledge. Teach them about hasanat. Teach them how much they get from doing one good deed. Wahakada. And encourage them through that which is appealing of the good. ID from Atlanta, Georgia. A Muslim joining a fraternity can one hold an English translation, Quran, and Taraweeh in order to contemplate on the ayat. As far as a Muslim joining a fraternity, then that's clearly problematic from so many different aspects and angles. But once again, like Muslims who asked about, can a Muslim join the military, the United States military? And quite frankly, I'm not saying every country overseas, but Many things overseas in the Muslim lands, the army is the same, if not worse. So it's once again a selective piety type of game. You know, it's haram to join the U.S. military, but it's not haram to join the military overseas, in which there's kufr and shirk and bid'ah and ma'siyah and mukhalafat and nationalism and etc. 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 Right? What's important is it's part of a bigger problem. Can a Muslim be a friend with a non-Muslim? Is there a thing called wala wal bara? What does it mean when you join a fraternity? Are you pledging some type of allegiance or loyalty? Are you declaring these people to be your friends that you hang out with? Or is it something that's professional and formal? It depends, but it's many things which are going to be clearly problematic with regards to that. Wallahu ta'ala alam. As far as holding an English translation of the Quran in order to ponder and to reflect, then the general rule is that there are many things which are lawful in the recommended prayers, the voluntary prayers, which are unlawful in the fard prayers. So holding something, making extra movements, or whatever the case may be for a nafila prayer isn't the same as the fard prayer. So for argument's sake, that habshu min khushu', it's not necessarily a prohibited thing, absolutely. Whereas you're holding the mushaf in Arabic, scholars differ on that. Wallahu ta'ala alam. E.N. from Melbourne, Australia. Is the prayer affected if the masjid is mortgaged? It doesn't affect your prayer, inshallah ta'ala. The scholars do differ, though, on praying in a place that's stolen. And it could be applicable to anything else which is improper and Islamically incompliant. Stolen, you say that the mortgage is haram, whatever the case may be. All right? At the end of the day, the scholars differ on that. And perhaps the correct view is that the prayer is valid, especially if it's not your fault. Obviously, mortgage is a lengthy discussion. Can Muslims enjoy it in mortgage? Can they benefit from mortgage? That's a long discussion in itself. Hopefully it won't affect your prayer and it won't render your prayer to be invalid. Inshallah ta'ala. Wallahu alam. Assalamu alaikum from Delhi, India. Imran Saifi. Does nose drop break the fast? Avoid that, inshallah ta'ala. If you don't need it, then don't do it. If you do need to, you have to take the nose drop, then it depends. That which goes inside of you and gives you nourishment, like food or drink, like water or food, breaks the fast. So however you ingest it into your body. As far as that which goes inside of you, and it doesn't necessarily give you food or drink or energy or nourishment, then I wouldn't necessarily say that. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Question is coming from Malik. No last initials. Tabang. What's that? Tabang. That's the initials. FK. London, UK. What should we say to those who say they ask Allah for something by the Prophet's status? Is that legislated? No, that's not. That is not a legislated form of tawassul. SR from Ottawa, Ontario. Do you have any tips for staying consistent with 5 daily prayers? Yes. Make dua for Allah to give you consistency. Hang around people who are consistent. Keep those people in your circle. YH Chicago. Assalamu alaikum. A wise man once said, who is this wise man you're always referring to, Sheikh? I always wondered. Well, obviously, it's not just one wise man, right? Many people have asked me this before. And the question is perplexing to me. I would think that someone would get the point that it's not just one person. A wise man said here, this quote, and there are hundreds and thousands of sources that I use for these wise wisdoms of the ancients, right? Wallahu ta'ala alam. All right, that'll be our last question today. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.